My paranormal slash spiritual story. Hi, I'm Sylvia. Saw your TikTok account a few times and decided to share my experience. Maybe it will pique your interest enough to read it on one of your videos. You can use my name and tag me if you decide to cover my email. Since my childhood, I had many paranormal experiences, felt things others don't, such as also feeling the smell of death. I had literally smelled it a few times. Each time it was a day or two before the neighbor or some sort of acquaintance had passed, or a day or two after the person does, like in their home or something. But the story I'm about to tell is a little bit different. I'm 28, actually, and to give you an intro, back in 2015, I met a group of amazing people with who I built a good connection, and we were still supporting each other when there was a need to. A few years later, we all kind of grew apart, but with some type of in touch that we kept. One of my friends, Thomas, had an aunt who was pretty close neighbors, so we often saw each other when we were helping. One time, it was April 2019, we met and planned a meeting in like a week or two with a few of our closest friends. Plans changed, and we couldn't meet, and I remember exactly that at May 13th, 2019, I had this very creepy and nerve-wracking dream, kind of like an experience. I say dream because I know it wasn't a typical dream or like just a nightmare. I found myself in something like a pitch black cave. Not cave-like, but I heard water in the distance, like a river. I knew I was underground, but there was like a little bit of grass and black sand or ground with rock in a shape similar to a tomb. It split in two like a gate. I heard cries, wind, crackling sounds like echoes through the place, but mostly a water sound and something like moving on, like a small boat, not the kind with an engine, but maybe a manual one. I was looking around, panicking and crying, feeling all alone, and like something just ended, and then I felt a breath, cold to the point of burning on my cheek. I turned and saw this hooded black figure, torn robe or cape, tall and very slim figure. It had no face, just an outline of the skull and bony fingers. It said to me that I wasn't supposed to be there yet, and that alive and dead cannot meet. I didn't know why. My heart felt like it was being crushed. I felt the breath again and woke up into reality by screaming. I cried on my bed and screamed for about a minute after coming back. Went to wash my face and I had a horrible frostbite left on my cheek. Exactly how I felt it in the dream. I checked the phone. It was 2:17 a.m. and I didn't want to go back to bed. In the morning, I saw a news article about the fire of one of the houses in the neighborhood over, but didn't really pay attention to it until a few days later. I got a call from my best friend who was going to the same class back to our middle school days with Thomas. That on their year class group chat, another one of Thomas's friends that we knew posted that Thomas died and gave the ceremony and funeral details. When we talked to him, he said that Thomas died in that fire. He was at some friends with his older brother there, and another one person besides Thomas died there. The fire broke out at about 1:30, as the news said, but Thomas's remains were identified by teeth based on the list of people who did not report for work in our city during those days between the 14th and the 17th of May. It was stated from what I learned from talking with his family that he probably died about 2:15 to 2:20 based on service calculations. Till this day, with all the information I have gathered about how the fire looked like and all the other things, it was obvious that Thomas didn't know he was being poisoned by smoke and lost consciousness before he died. I think we know that before. I also know because of the timing that this dream I had wasn't a dream, but I was there when he passed on the other side. I remember the place like it was yesterday, and like my own room I'm looking around in as I write this. So I'm pretty sure I saw that place, and those who are leaving us behind came to before going further in the afterlife. But if anyone would have more ideas at exactly what it was I saw and why I did that night, at the time my friend was dying, like 30 minutes walk past from my apartment, it still sits with me and haunts me till this day if someone can give me advice. Sylvia, thank you so much for this story. I truly appreciate it. There is a huge language barrier here, so I am so sorry if I botched your story, but I think that I did an okay job. There was quite a bit that was a little bit more on the difficult side for me to determine what exactly you were trying to say. So I'm really, really sorry if I botched this, but I think I did good. I think I did. I'm 100% going to tag you in this video because, one, I need to make sure that I got everything right in your story, but two, I really hope that someone can give you some type of idea. It does kind of sound like you kind of met death on the other side, and that death was like, hey, this actually isn't your time, you're not supposed to be here, maybe you skedaddle, maybe you get out of here. And it's really heartbreaking to me that you have these moments of being able to determine people's deaths or after they have died without anyone else knowing. The reason I say it's heartbreaking is because death is supposed to be sudden. It's supposed to be something that we don't seek after. It's not supposed to be something that we know is going to happen. That's why it can happen any day, and people say to live your life to the fullest every day. Knowing that someone is going to die, or knowing that someone has died just by like having dreams or, smells or whatever the case may be, is really heart-wrenching to me. I don't want to know when someone is going to die. I don't want to know when I am going to die. I don't want to know how it's going to happen. I want to be able to mourn and grieve that person to the fullest extent that they deserve to be mourned. And I'm the type of person that I do that in solidarity. I do not mourn publicly. I have a very hard time mourning people in public because I have a very hard time crying in front of people. So when I cry in these videos, trust me, it is something that is near and dear to my heart, because I will not leave the house if someone that I know and love has passed. I can tell you that much. I'm really sorry for your friend's passing, and I hope that someone can give you some type of idea. Thank you again for sending in this story, and I will absolutely tag you, and you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.